folks, and welcome to another edition of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined this week by the full cast of my merry cohorts. We have our resident teacher of the Kirby variety.
Woohoo! Back from Vegas. It was awesome. Had a blast. Lots of interviews. And glad to be here with everybody this week.
Yep. Definitely keep an eye out. We are still in the process of uploading some of that stuff, so keep an eye on the channel for all that. Joining us as well, we also have everyone's favorite RP hologram, Artie.
How you doing, guys? I just came back from the holodeck. That's usually where I hang out.
Yep. You know, had a little fun on the holodeck, slapping some Borg around, all that good stuff. You know, the usual.
And maybe deck.
And he went there. He had to go there.
He didn't say where he slapped him. Anyway,
Oh my.
PRS After Dark.
Yep. Pretty sure we just got hit with a mature
5-minute
rating.
mark.
Yeah. Pretty sure we just got hit with a mature rating. And our final cohort is our resident Neela Deton.
What up, all?
Yep, Neela's going to be serving us our drinks around the bar this evening and all that fun stuff. But, anyways, everybody did survive Vegas and everything. We're hoping we're going to be able to go back this next year as well. We're able to get some good interviews and everything for you guys. But,
Oh yeah, a ton of interviews.
oh yeah. But,
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Yes.
We do have some stuff we want to get through this week for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into our news articles. And we have...
Well, you.
Okay, what is?
I was gonna say you've got the first one, man.
That's what I am doing. I had to pull it up.
Okay.
But, anyways, one of the big things is we are finally getting to see Geordi LaForge in action in Star Trek Online. And, in fact, we had an interview, you can see on the page here, that some of the crew was able to do with LeVar Burton. This crew, of course, being Perfect World and everybody.
Not our crew.
Not our crew. Just
Not
to
our
specify. But, I'm not going too much through the interview and everything, but, yeah.
All I gotta say, unisex skink uniform.
Yep.
And, yeah, and during the panel on Las Vegas, LeVar Burton came out. He was tall, white, with white hair and a big mustache. Yeah.
Yep.
It was really J.G. Hertzler, but he came out and said he was LeVar Burton, and the makeup was great backstage.
Not surprised.
It was lovely.
Great
Yep.
man.
But, yep. Yeah, definitely check this out on the TrekCore website. They've got some of the snippets from the interview and everything. They also have the official announcement trailer for Season 14, which is the next big thing coming along. So we are going to see some more Geordi LaForge and everything. The first thing we are going to get is the new episode coming out in just a couple of weeks now. And everything, so yeah, fun stuff. But definitely check that out. Any comments, anybody?
Yeah, so this looks like it's going to be very interesting. We will be seeing an episode with Geordi before the new season. So stay tuned. I believe the date they gave was September 12th, but I don't remember seeing it here. I have to reread very closely here. And it has something
September
to
12th.
do with... Okay, good. And it's going to have something to do with the Nexus. And that's all the details that I have. Sorry.
Well, I can tell you the I can tell you the RP community was really excited about hearing about the next generation interiors for the bridges.
Yeah.
As soon as that message went up and we saw pictures of it, everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, we're going to be actually in the Enterprise engineering. We're actually going to be seeing the, in the in the captain's chair. Oh my goodness, it's actually gonna be
Yep.
like not gonna be. It's gonna be like Voyager, but it's the Enterprise, and everyone went up in arms. It was great.
Better. Yeah. It's those interiors look awesome, and I can tell you, and I think the RP community will appreciate this, that the guys who did the interiors, one of the guys that worked on them is like he started it long before they knew they were going to do this. Started doing this at home as on his own time as a hobby, and then so he had a big head start, and then he came in and he was doing it for work, and he was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. So so you're actually getting a labor of love from the Cryptic guys there. So enjoy it, guys.
Yep. Not gonna lie, totally pumped for those myself as a longtime Galaxy class fan. Normally not one for Space Barbie, but yeah, I'm not gonna complain about new interiors and everything. What?
You didn't convince me.
What?
It's Neela. He's being Neela. That's like all you need to know.
Everyone had a little bit of Space Barbie in them.
Yep. He's more so not convinced that I don't do a lot of Space Barbie, and really I don't.
I mean, look at him. He only has. Oh, he's in a different outfit. My statement was going to be void. Never mind.
I have a couple of outfits and everything that I've acquired over the years, but it's took me years to get to where I'm at now on the Space Barbie level. I'll put it that way.
Then he met me.
I'm gonna shock everybody.
Oh Lord!
And you know how I'd feel about Space Barbie, right? Like 5 seconds in the character creator, done. For most of my characters, there's a few that for niche things, like Gornalicious. Like Gornalicious, yeah, right.
Lord.
Is the exception, but this would be something I would Space Barbie with.
Ooh.
TNG is my first track. I mean, I was 10. It's pretty cool. I'll be able to take a character inside the original, inside the TNG set, inside the Enterprise. Yeah, that would be the thing I'm gonna go fangirl over and Space Barbie with, and maybe even my first is gonna do any kind of role play, and it would be very, very light, like engage in the captain's chair, and and tea, Earl Grey, hot in the in the ready room, and that kind of stuff, And if I was ever gonna do it, this would be the environment I'd do it in.
I'm super proud of you.
So yeah, I knew Artie would be.
Artie's converted another one.
No,
I'll be quiet.
1 down, 2 to go.
Oh Lord.
now for me, it was Voyager and Enterprise that I grew up on because they were reruns while I was in high school.
Ah, wow.
Because when I got home from school, it was Voyager was first, and then right after that, it was Enterprise for rerun.
I was only 4 years old when Voyager premiered back in '95, so first actual Trek I kind of got into was the TNG reruns with my mother several years ago, but yeah. But enough of our bantering about our stuff.
Yeah,
Next big thing.
Just a minute.
Our Sona R&D promotion got an upgrade.
Yes, it did. So we were supposed to have a just a R&D promotion, or an R&D pack that gave us the Sona. Oh goodness, where'd it go? They gave us the soda promotion, and instead we got a R&D Infinity R&D promotion, which gives us not only the new Sona ship, so don't worry, you're still going to have a choice. You're still going to be able to choose that if you want it, but also has access to the Krenaman Elachi Sheshar Intel, the Elachi Sheshar Command, the Jem'Hadar Strike Ship, the Jem'Hadar Recon Ship, the special 23rd Century Special Requisition Pack with the Tier 6 Connie, the D7 Temporal Battle Cruiser, the Talis Temporal Warbird, has the Sona Collector Science Dreadnought for you to choose as well, the Amari class Smuggler's Heavy Escort, the Universe Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Cruiser for Starfleet only, the Durgath Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Battle Cruiser, and the Valkiss Temporal Heavy Dreadnought Warbird. So you have obviously 3, 6, 7, 8, 10 choices. 11, 12, 13. 13 choices in all for you to choose from as ship choices, so not too shabby. So you go from getting one ship to getting a choice of 13. And this runs from August 17th until September 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Comments, questions?
Super excited because now I get a second chance to get that T6 Connie.
Yeah.
Recon.
Yeah. And Neela's for the recon. Oh, the other thing I forgot to say, if you buy the pack now and save them, the pack will still have the chance to get the choice of 13 ships, even after the promotion expires. So don't worry.
Teach is trying to manipulate the EC market again.
I am not.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, if I was going to do that, I'd talk about the sale, but yeah, no.
Oops.
Oops.
But yeah, definitely.
And that would actually be the Zen market.
I know I've actually got quite a few of these ships here. See, I have the Anorax, I've got the Constitution, the Amory, and the Universe. And all are pretty good ships, actually. But the only thing I have not had a chance to fly is the Cheshire or the Sona ship yet, so yeah. Y'all still hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thought my stuff was scrapping for a minute. Whew.
No.
Okay. I'm good.
The stream did hiccup on my end, but that's about it.
Okay, as long as it's just a hiccup and then not an outright crash, we're good.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. So, if you've been looking for some of these ships, now's definitely a time to go out there and grab one. But, moving right along, we have the Arena of Sompek for 3 weeks.
Yes, we have the Arena Sompek, that wonderful little ground map mission that you get to run on until forever, until you pretty much wipe. Starting from August 17th to September 7th, Federation, Klingon, and Romulan captains will be able to run in there and beat up every hostile in our end of the galaxy, and to get a wide number of marks. If you remember from last time Sompek came around, it has the number of rounds that have to require to get a certain amount of marks. 0 to 3 rounds, you get nothing. And, maximum 56 plus rounds, you get 163 marks. Same thing with the lithium. It's along the same lines. 0 to 3, you get nothing. 4 to 28, you get 600. 98 to 111 rounds, you get 5,700 dill. That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
And then coming around with the crafting material, 0 to 3 rounds, you get nothing. 4 to 6, you get 1 normal material. 7 to 13, you get 2. And further up, you get about 91 plus rounds, you can get 1 normal and 6 elite materials. So if you're into all the crafting and such, and you're able to get that far, you're going to get a good grab from all that.
Indeed.
Now, there's also an unlock that this doesn't talk about.
Oh yes.
I wonder what unlock that could be.
Chris?
We have a little question for the crowd. Darkblade, if you're able to show them the emote that I'm about to be mentioning. We have a question for the crowd. If you are able to get through a number of rounds, you're able to get the emote Dance Victory of Sompek. And this is what it looks like. Yes, you start dancing and then you fry yourself.
You do the snake, and then Sompek lightning descends from above and kills you.
But yeah,
Now,
the question.
to some of you who have watched 10 Forward Weekly, this looks very familiar.
Yes, you might remember
Yeah.
Ambassador Kale running into a Sompek arena, doing the snake, and getting smited by lightning.
So this is the Ambassador Kale. We're just gonna call it what it is. This is the Ambassador Kale. We're not sure what the minimum participation is. We know you have to get past round 6 because my character that you see here has gotten to round 6. I haven't taken her anywhere past that. I've been doing what we call 5 and dives to get my my reward and move on, because I'm doing 16 tunes this year.
Whew.
Good lord.
Yeah, so I've been doing 5 and dives, and she does not have that emote unlocked. Darkblade here has done up to level, you said 48?
No. I think
56.
It's around
56.
I don't think we actually cleared the 56th wave. I think we just had got to it, and that's when we
So
died.
into the 50s.
Yeah.
So let us know if anybody's done like lower than that and has the emote unlocked. Let us know. And and we'll see what the lowest number that we have reported is, so we can kind of get an idea of what is the lowest level you can clear to get the emote, because we don't know at this point.
Also, it's a very hilarious emote, and we want you guys to get that.
Yeah.
It is, yes. It is an actually hilarious emote.
Which, after the show, we will be trying to get it so we can send a little blurb out on Twitter of what the round is.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll be seeing. My guess, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe round 11.
That's a good guess.
Either that, or does anybody know what round they were in when Ambassador Kale got struck?
Ooh, that's a good. That's like a
Originally,
trivia
because
question.
they might have done it as an Easter egg and put it as a reward for that round.
maybe you get the thing of just dancing in the arena and getting struck by lightning. Who knows?
No, I don't
Well,
think so.
I never danced in the arena though, so I don't
Ooh,
know.
all right, that throws that one
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, definitely let us
My
know.
guess is either it's a minimum level, like maybe 11 or 20 or 10 or 11, or that it's an Easter egg and you get it when you pass the level that he was originally killed in. That's my guess, but it's just a guess.
And I doubt it's that low of a round, 10 or 11.
I would say
See, I don't.
But
Higher
they-
than 6.
for-
That's
No,
all-
for any emotes, they make it higher. Just give people more incentive to go farther.
I would say around like low 20s for me.
25?
If I had to guess,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I want to say possibly it's 21 when you get the first accolade.
But anyways, definitely let us know
Possibly.
when you guys are seeing it unlock. We're not 100% sure ourselves. We might be able to figure out after the show, but
Yeah, can you imagine in the near future they're doing a 10 forward weekly? Everyone just gathers around Kale and just does the emo.
not that we would ever do that. Okay, maybe a little, but
Not that we would ever do that or suggest doing that.
yes.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Do not troll the community ambassador, the community manager. Sorry.
yes, or he will slap you, and then he will laugh because he slaps you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But moving right along, we also have an R&D weekend.
Yep. For the R&D weekend, that kind of goes along with the R&D Infinity promotion they have going, where, excuse me, where with this you can get more research materials. So, say you buy the R&D packs to try and get one of the ships, you'll get 2 R&D material packs out of it. Same thing with doing any queued event, you'll get 2 R&D material packs out of it. So you'll get double the materials for your buck. And then, say you're still leveling up schools, you will get double the points for it.
Indeed.
And if you do the harvest nodes that are in mission maps, you'll get 2 extra R&D materials and 10 dill for every one you do, and a chance to get an R&D catalyst. Any comments from you people?
Personally, I think this.
Go ahead. Sorry.
This is very helpful for one. Having these little weekends appear, just get the R&D stuff moving again. It works out very well. As well as having a little bit more incentive to get those pesky materials out on mission. Get some bill too. I mean, sign me up.
Yeah, definitely. It is nice to get extra things out of the extra mats. Sorry, out of the boxes. You also get some of the accelerators, or not. What do they call them? They don't call them accelerators. What do they call them?
Catalyst. Yeah.
Catalysts. Thank you. Yeah. Gotta remember the term they use for everything. The extra catalysts, which are kind of nice for some things. So it's nice to get those because that's really the R&D weekends is the only way to get them outside of buying the actual boxes from the C-store, and not everybody can afford to do that. So, that is a nice thing to see there. And what else was I thinking? Oh, the extra, if you're leveling up your crafting schools, the extra XP from that is very nice to get for this weekend. So, yay!
And
Yeah.
Segue back to the Sompek blog. For the timed mission, it is complete round 23. And you will get the dancing mode.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so
nice.
we've seen as low as 23. Can anybody get lower than 23? How low can you go?
No,
Sorry.
no, just confirm.
Just confirmed. Okay.
Yep. And the good thing, too, I guess, about the R&D stuff is, especially if you're cracking open on packs and everything, some of the stuff I have, and it's flipped you the bird, the extra materials are a nice consolation prize.
It is.
It really is.
Plus the logo.
Especially if you're a crafter.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, plus the...
Well, I think of it like this, I either get a ship, and I can make potentially billions of EC, or I get a lot of materials and low buy, so either way I win, just saying. But anyways, moving right along for our console players, we have a shuttle weekend. This is going from Thursday the 17th of August until Monday the 21st at 10 a.m. Pacific. So get out there, check out them shuttle missions, get yourself some extra marks and everything. This is usually where they bust out some special variants of different missions where you can do them in shuttles, such as storming the Spire, have the Vault Shuttle event, the Federation and Klingon fleet alerts, where it is done in shuttles. And just as one hypothetical example, you go in there with a Klingon fleet alert or a Fed fleet alert, and there's about 19 other shuttles in there besides you. So you can imagine the comedy that goes on in there. Like 20 little shuttles swarming a giant dreadnought.
The poking of the bees.
Pretty much.
One thing is, it's not that bad. Have 20 of those guys going after you. Well, I've seen some pretty big explosions.
Or all shuttles get low health. At the same time, hit ramming speed. And I've seen it where all 20 shuttles hit ramming speed took out a dreadnought that was at half health.
Yep. Those guys are kamikazes insane.
I'd say probably one of the funnier things. I've seen a bunch of Delta Flyers group up a bunch of subspace vortexes on a guy and then just smack a bunch of torp spreads everywhere. You want to talk about stuff? You want to talk about stuff going boom? But yeah,
Yeah, that'll do it.
yep. Definitely check this out, especially since you get a bit more marks than normal. It is actually a fun little thing. I know we did a budget build over the shuttles. I think the last time we had a shuttle weekend and everything that
Yeah.
was kind of inspired by Artie and everything. And just for giggles, I'll see if I can't hunt that down, and I'll probably link that in the notes for you guys and everything for console players. Should be able to get everything by now that we had on it. Do they have the Lucari stuff yet?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they do.
They do. Okay, good. So yeah, you'll be able to get everything from the shuttle event, or the budget shuttle that we had, and should be able to, how should we say, rip them a new one?
I think that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, we will have this stuff in the notes for you guys. Moving right along, we have the PC patch notes for the 17th.
Move right along. Do.
Phenomena.
Did him now. Do-do-do-do.
Phenomena.
Alright. Whose one is the PC patch notes?
That would be you.
Yeah.
That would be me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's right. See, I forgot one keeping track. Okay. So, I think Neela wants to share the very first line in the patch notes for PC, because
Yes, I do.
he was all a Twitter about it.
Yeah. I on my lunch break at work on Thursday, I was going through Facebook. This is all the patch notes. Saw the first bullet. Resolved an issue that occasionally causes a crash when starting the game. 2 weeks I've had that, where it would get about 3/4 of the way loading bar full, and then cryptic error crash. Or sometimes the launcher wouldn't even open all the way. It would just cryptic crash at the launcher. So now I can at least get in game, but now I just can't go to sector space on any character. I can queue and stuff, but I cannot leave where they are at.
Oh boy. Okay. So, if you are like Neela and have had trouble with your game crashing when you try to start the game, then you should be able to now log in. If not, contact us, let us know. We will pass that on.
Or just do a ticket.
The other thing, or do a ticket, exactly.
Ticket would be faster.
Probably. Let's see, the other thing that I noticed that would probably be a big pain, resolved an issue where training a bridge officer in a new specialization prevented switching bridge officer specializations until logging out and logging back in. So that's a big quality of life improvement. Let's see, the ship pack that contains the D9 Dreadnought Battlecruiser, Prototype Dreadnought Battlecruiser, or Thrall Dreadnought Warbird, Thry Dreadnought Warbird, has been renamed to 23rd Century Tier 6 Undiscovered Dreadnought, to be more visually distinct from the special requisition pack. Okay, let's see. I'm getting... Oh, goodness. I did not say that. I said ship.
What it sounded like over here.
Oh
Yeah,
my
over here.
goodness.
That
Okay.
is not what it sounded like over here.
You look
All
like
right, people, I said
take a drink.
S-H-I-P with a P. Let's see. Resolved an issue that prevented the Fleet Research Lab boosts from affecting the player while they were dead. Simplified and clarified tooltip descriptions for directed energy flux. And I think the big one, the prototype Tantalus field set bonus now lasts for 10 seconds instead of 5 and has an improved description. Focus singularity beam does not disable prematurely. And weapon haste from the prolonged engagement weapons does not affect other energy weapons. So that's a big one. And here's one that's very important. The Engineering Captain Power Miracle Worker has been renamed to Miraculous Repairs. This is a text change only. If you haven't been paying attention or listening to all the new information that's come out, this is because there's going to be, yes, that is an alarm, because there is going to be a new specialization tree coming out that they're going to call Miracle Worker. And trust me, they tried to find another name that fit this thing, and I have had a few conversations about this with Zeronius Rex and Captain Gecko and others. They tried to find another term that would fit this spectre, and they couldn't. So they're reclaiming the term miracle worker, and they are going to call that the spectre miracle worker. And so they're now calling the ability for the engineers miraculous repairs. So does anybody else have a patch note that sticks out to them?
I saw one that was. I noticed that's funny because I actually saw it in person. Resolved an issue where the ship name on the Constitution refit saucer would start to repeat itself if the name was too long. A friend of mine had his Connie out, and I'm just looking down at the ship, trying to get some good pictures, and I noticed that the name just decided to double up and then kind of glitch through each other with halfway through the word. It was the funniest thing, but I'm glad they fixed that.
Okay.
Besides the occasionally causing a crash, resolve an issue in chat where chat tabs that were set to team only would type in local chat instead when the player was added to a team.
Interesting.
Because that was so annoying every time you would leave a queue or join another team, it wouldn't put you in team chat right away like it normally would. It would leave you in local.
Yeah, especially right when you're typing up a quick description plan of what you're going to do, and then it's in local and everyone's already sped away to where they can't hear you in local.
Or saying to people, die already, let yourself die in Sompek. Yeah.
Well, local on Sompek you can see.
Local, yeah, you can see it, but still.
Apparently I didn't see it fast enough.
I can see how that would be annoying.
Yes,
actually, a few good ones I see. This is one, I actually noticed this the other day, leveling one of my Romulan characters. T5U Fleet Chimera Destroyer resolved an issue that prevented the aft weapons from being set to auto-fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, it is.
Isolytic...
Oh, here's another
go
one.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say
I was gonna say
isolytic
another
plasma.
one.
Ladies first.
I was gonna say 3, 2, 1, shoot! Resolved scaling issues. The Chronomanarax Science Dreadnought's Chronoton lands. Big one.
And to answer that question, Storm, it shouldn't be taking that long. It shouldn't even be taking more than 2 or 3 hours at all to get a pin. It should just send it over. What I would say to do, because that's beyond my area of expertise, I would say to send in a ticket through the actual website itself the next time you're able to get onto ARC. Just kind of explain to them what's happening, and the customer service folks should be able to help you from there. I mean, there's not really... They don't give us GM powers or anything to mess with that as a bug hunter. Otherwise, I would gladly help you out if I could. But, yeah, if anybody else is having an issue like what Storm's describing, please let them know, because that is a very huge break and everything.
Yeah.
It's, it should not take that long at all. It shouldn't even take half that time to get a pin for you to log in. But, like I say, put in a ticket through ARC, let them know what's going on. I would double check all your settings, make sure your spam settings are set right, everything with your emails set good, make sure everything as far as the game is set good. I mean, beyond that, aside from sending them a customer service ticket, I don't know of much else to do. Yep. Well, that's what we're here
All
for,
right.
is to try to help them we can. But
Yes.
last patch
All
notes I had, and we can move on, is the ship pack that contains the D9 Dreadnought Battlecruiser, the prototype Dreadnought Cruiser, or Thry Dreadnought Warbird has been renamed to 23rd Century Tier 6 Undiscovered Dreadnought to be more visually distinct from the special requisition 26th Century. Because,
Yeah, I read that one.
yeah, there was a couple of people that I know made that unfortunate
That
mistake.
mentioned it.
Well, they made the
Yep.
unfortunate mistake of buying the wrong pack, and yeah.
Oh.
So you can imagine their disappointment when they
Yeah.
didn't get the 26th Century like they wanted. Which the guy was
Yeah.
after an Atlas anyway, so it's not like he got screwed. It's just it wasn't what he was after at that time. But yeah.
Yeah.
And the 23rd Century vendors,
There we go.
the other big one that I had seen. That's you're welcome, folks. But yeah, definitely one that I'd turned in that I had seen.
Yeah, so the vendors no longer have binding rules.
They didn't
No,
have
they
binding
do have,
rules.
sorry.
They do now.
They do now. They are now account bind on equip.
Yep.
So,
Well, something's amused Poe in the background. I can hear there.
yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah, it's a.
Apparently
Oh, go ahead.
somebody on TV just said, Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my Lord.
And so that made laugh, yes.
Yeah, I can see how that
Get
makes
anyone,
anybody laugh.
would get anyone to laugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that
Yep.
would get anyone to laugh.
But
Yep.
anyways, we will have this in the notes for you guys. It's a pretty decent sized patch compared to what we have been getting lately. I'd encourage folks to check it out because there are some quality of life improvements in there and everything.
Yes.
But anyways, moving along, we have the research and development sale that we mentioned earlier.
Yes, for a limited time, starting from Thursday, August 17th, to Monday, August 21st, they will be selling the research and development packs. And you have a chance of getting the Sona Dreadnought and whatnot. The research development pack normally sold at 300 Zen, now at 240. The pack would include the 15 common, uncommon, rare, or very rare R&D materials, the 15 uncommon, rare, and very rare, also uncommon, rare, and very rare R&D materials, including those from I said before. Then 6 rare or very rare R&D materials, and so on, including multiple Mark II or better R&D components, as well as a random number of catalysts. 3 random R&D catalysts, and then 4 random upgrade accelerators. A good chunk from just the pack. And then the R&D pack bundle, normally sold at 1,000 Zen, would be sold at 800 Zen. And that would include 4 of these packs, and you would get a better chance, a better grouping of 10 tons of R&D materials.
So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would also like to note that any packs bought during the promotion with the Sona Dreadnought, that with the what we've said before, with the chance of getting 13 different ships.
Yep.
That
Yes.
still has the chance to happen here if you get it during this time. So it connects easily with that.
Yes, I bought 1 4-pack, and believe me, it is the promotional pack that you get from the C-Store with this sale. So if you were on the fence, it is discounted, it only costs 800 Zen instead of 1,000 for a 4-pack. It costs less than 300 for a single pack. So, yeah.
Yeah, now's definitely a good time, especially while it's discounted. I know why they did this, and they're evil geniuses.
Yes. They're digging into Chris's pocketbook again. If
Every
you
time.
can't
I'm
afford the
telling you,
Zen,
every time.
every time. If you can't afford the Zen, see if you got some EC stashed away. They're not exactly cheap with EC, but they're probably at the cheapest you'll ever see them. So if you do have some EC stashed away and you're dying to try to get a ship, now would be the time.
Yep. But, anyways, we will have that in the notes, everything for you guys. Definitely consider investing now while the sale's going on. Everything, that way you get more bang for your buck. But, moving along, we have our RP blog, The Best Laid Plans.
Yep, this was an interesting read at best. It was... Normally when they do a fiction blog, it's only about a mission or something along those lines, but this one is about how they came about. The Alliance came about to get the Sona Dreadnought plans. And it's actually an ingenious way of how the Alliance got the Sona plan. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
Let you guys read it, but one good thing was at the end, the one character started using a glittering ruby as the color for the signature.
Yeah, definitely. This is one that I actually did get around to reading this time. It's definitely an interesting blog, I'll say that much. Definitely how I would expect the Sona to behave. But again, like I say, I don't want to say too much for anybody out there that's not actually read it and actually wants to read it for themselves. We're not very big on spoilers here, but
It is
But
a
yeah.
good read, though. Yeah.
It is.
But
It is. I mean, and I'm trying to see what I can comment without giving away too much, and it's hard. But the idea they have to try to keep the ship out of the hands of the Alliance is definitely an interesting one, and with the way. See, I don't want to say that. I was going to make a comment, but I'm stopping because it's going to be a spoiler already.
Well, if they didn't want the Alliance
So,
to
yeah.
have the ship, they should have put it in the R&D pack.
I'll just say it's interesting who suggested the idea that they went with,
Yep.
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to leave it at that because anything more would be a spoiler.
I wonder how many
And
people are going to be like,
that's-
what is that? Who is this person? I should know him. Or her.
Yeah.
And that's
Wait,
why I said it's at the end. It's pretty cool to see that the glittering ruby shows up in the signature.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It's definitely a good blog. Highly advise you guys to read it if you're kind of curious and everything. They usually do pretty good with the blogs. But we will have it in the notes for you folks to check out. But moving right along, we finally have our budget build of the evening. Now this evening we went with a T5U Dreadnought, the old Galaxy X Dreadnought, and we're breaking out a special variation of our budget for this evening. This is normally a bare bones, but this time we decided to go with a 1-key budget. This is a variation of the bare bones we break out on occasion when we want to mix it up a little bit. And what we have for our 1-key budget is usually we take the current price of a lockbox key, we use that as our EC spending limit. Everything else in this case has to be free or as cheap as it absolutely can possibly be. Now, when I originally made this budget build, the average price of a key was at about 5 million EC, so slightly less to work with if you were to do it today, but if you can score around 5 million and everything, you will have no problems making the ship. The normal limit for a bare bones is about 2 million, so slight increase from where we normally go. If I can not fail at buttons. Now,
And you thought words were hard.
yeah, apparently buttons are harder. But, anyways, this is the old T5 Galaxy X Dread. Now, we did decide to take it to T5U because we're assuming that somebody may have also, if they're going ahead and buying the ship, they've probably bought an upgrade token with it as well. And I did include in the notes for people that look at the actual build on the computer later on, or pull it up on STO Academy, I did include notes as to what the extra console will be whenever you upgrade to the fleet version and upgrade that. But anyways, as far as our weapons, because of the phaser lance on the ship, we decided to take it down the phaser route. And some of the items that we did call into play for everybody out there, we did call into play the quantum phase items. This includes the quantum phase beam array, the quantum phase torpedo, which is a quantum torpedo, and then also, if I can remember the name of this console, it is the Universal Quantum Phase Converter. Now this particular console, it comes from, I believe it is the Sunrise mission is where this set comes from, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I believe the weapons are Sunrise, and the space set is Stormbound. But that might be reversed.
You know, I could just do the simple thing and look.
We could.
And let me pull this up. Anybody that is actually watching the video will be able to see this. Our radio folks probably won't. Yep, so the space weapons are from the Sunrise mission, and Stormbound is where you get the actual space set. Okay. So we did have that.
Hey,
right.
look at that! I was right.
Yep. Always like to double check this stuff because I don't want to give out any bad info to you guys if it can be avoided and everything. But
Okay, kill dance. Kirby got something right.
you're totally gonna make me do it, aren't you?
Sorry. It's okay. You don't have
Oh
to.
Lord.
I just think it's fun.
But one thing I will do, in case anybody is kind of curious as to what some of the stats may look like, this is for our radio folks out there as well.
With the war over, it's
You're
time
probably going to hear some voiceover that I'm going to be talking over, but the beam array for me at the moment is showing around 338 phaser damage. But keep in mind, I am on the ground as I read these, so the numbers might be a little bit off compared to being in space. Then the quantum phase converter, this is the actual console. It is a universal console, so you could put it anywhere. It comes standard with 20% phaser damage, 3 aux power setting, 30 drain expertise, and it also has a hot restart on the console that automatically removes aux power disabled conditions and can occur once per minute. So that is a very great thing to have. Everything for any phaser build. Then finally we have the quantum phase torpedo. Now, what makes this one so special is the proc that it actually delivers to the foes. Under the high yield and torpedo spread, the radius of this is increased to 4 kilometers, but whenever it hits a foe, it does a minus 551 to all shields in a 2-kilometer radius. So whenever it hits something and it explodes, it does the shield drain to anything within that 2 kilometers. And when you jack that up with Drain X, that can be a lot higher than that. And it's very possible to shield strip with this. But, then the beam array itself will drain shields from the enemy, and it will also restore to your shields as well, is the other proc that it has with it. So it'll drain 551 from enemy and restore to you. So pretty decent stuff we've got with the Quantum Phase set. Everything. I thought I had one laying around in my inventory. Do I not have that? Okay, I thought I had that laying around, but apparently I do not have it on this tune. Anyway, I was going to show you guys the 3-set bonus and everything with it, which is another nice thing to have, but I believe I included that in the notes, I don't remember. But the main reason we want to have the Quantum Phase 3 set is, you know what? Let me just run and grab it off of a ship. I'll just do the simple thing for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do for you.
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
I've got a character. It'll probably take me less time to go and change to that character than it will to...
Yeah, good point. Even though I was halfway to the shipyard, but... So, we'll just let Kirby explain that point, because apparently I'm a derply-do and I forgot. So, y'all can blame that one on me. I will totally take the blame for that.
You can tell them where to get the Mark 11 blue phasers.
Yes, I can do that. I can be productive. Or attempt to be productive. But, anyways, while she finds the... Okay, have you got it?
I got it.
Alright.
Detail. Alright, so the quantum phase, so the 2-piece, quantum phase array, here we go. The 2-piece is plus 15 accuracy rating, doubles the potency of the quantum phase weapons shield drain, doubles the potency of quantum phase high yield, torpedo shield heal. So that's the 2-piece.
So,
the 3-piece bonus.
in a nutshell, folks, instead of the standard 551 drain that I showed you guys a minute ago and talked about, instead of the 551, that would be 1102 drain. And again, this can be boosted with Drain X. But continue on with the 3-piece, Kirby.
Yes, so the 3-piece is what's called the Quantum Destabilizing Beam. So this is an extra attack, and what I'm going to read, I am on ground, so, you know, actually I can transfer into space while I talk about this, but it is important to note that this beam, it is a single target beam, and it can be boosted by... So the other thing that's important to note, these numbers... You hear me now?
Yeah. But...
Okay.
In other words, it can be boosted by Drain X, is what she was trying to say.
It can be boosted by Drain X, and this particular character that I have this on, his Drain X is quite high, so you're going to hear, or is higher than base, obviously. So you're going to hear kind of high numbers, more details. Definitely higher than your base numbers here. So, okay. So the quantum destabilizing beam, and so remember this is boosted by Drain X, but to your target it deals 3,893.5 phaser damage per second for 10 seconds. So it is a, you know, get on them and stay on them beam. So as long as you can keep them in the targeting arc, that beam will keep going for 10 seconds. It also drains, and I've got it listed as minus 5.9 all power per subsystem all power subsystems per second. So it is draining 5.9 from their subsystems for every second you can keep that beam on them. It is also putting that into your subsystems. So it's basically a leech in a can.
Yep. And in a nutshell, for folks that don't want to do the math, that the drain amounts to a little shy of actually 24 power that it's giving you total spread across the subsystems. But,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's basically a short-term leech. It'll last for 10 seconds. It does have a 2-minute cooldown. So it's treated like it's a console, but it is a nice single target, large target weapon. So, and that is the 3-piece of the quantum phase weapon set.
Yep. Now, and definitely thank you for that, Kirby. I definitely dropped the ball by not having that ready on a
You're
show.
welcome. That's okay.
As far as
I didn't either. So.
As far as the rest of the weapons go, we did use 6 blue quality phaser beams. These are, I believe this is the DMG2s. Yep, this is the DMG2s I had slotted on the builder itself. Now, you can get from the mission, this is the Everything Old is New mission, you can actually get, bring that up right quick, you can get either a crit D times 2, or you can get a DMG times 2, or you can get a twin phaser, which is a crit H DMG. Now, that's probably the best guaranteed mod you're going to get at a lower level mission like that, or one of the betters, I should say, for a mission reward. You don't usually see that much consistency, but that's where we're going to get to the rest of our phasers. So the quantum phase space weapons and console from the Sunrise mission, and the rest of our 6 weapons are going to come from the Everything Old is New mission. And everything. Then as far as our shields, our engines, and our deflector goes, and I think the stream's taking a dump. There it goes. Slide hiccup there, I think. But, and in case anybody's wondering, I'm running a local recording and I'm running Twitch off the same thing while loading the game up. So, you can imagine what kind of a rig I have to work with. But, yeah. Then as far as our deflector, our impulse engines, our shields, and our warp core, now we did use the quantum phase space set as well, and then since that set does not come with a warp core, we went with the temporal phase overcharged core. Now the temporal phase overcharged core is one we feature quite often here on the show, mainly because it is one of the best, if not the best, warp cores you can get for free from a mission. Now the actual stats, I'll pull this up and I'll read those off for our radio guys. But it comes from the Butterfly mission. And this warp core, it will give 7.5 to aux power, additional aux power that is, at low. It'll give us a +5 maximum aux power, allowing us to go past the 125 max. You get 17.5 electroplasma flow systems, which is the power transfer. And you also get 17.5 warp core efficiency. You also get 7.5% of your aux power transfer to shields as a bonus. Then the big strength to the temporal phase core is actually the temporal phase capacitor that comes with it. Now, if you were here several years ago now for the Delta recruitment event, you're probably familiar with a little device known as the temporal negotiator. And basically what the temporal negotiator did was cut the bridge officer cooldowns in half for the duration that it was active. And what makes the temporal phase core so good is you essentially get that in the form of a warp core capacitor. Whenever you use it, it repairs disabled aux systems, gives a 50% bridge officer ability recharge time reduction for 15 seconds, 15 aux power for 15 seconds, and it's on a 4-minute recharge. So a very potent ability from your warp core, especially on the lower budget end and everything. Even at the higher end, I still think this is a very nice warp core to have if you need one. But that's what we've got for our warp core. Now for the quantum phase space set, I do have the shields here so I can read off some of the stats for them. Now for our shields, our engines, and our deflector, let me pull up the Stormbound mission. For our quantum phase deflector, it's kind of standard as far as deflectors go. It gives us 35 shield restoration, 26.2 shield capacity, and 43.8 for drain expertise. So pretty nice drain from a starting Mark 12 deflector. Not really too much that sets it out as far as that goes. Then we have our quantum phase combat impulse engines, and the stats that it gives us are 15.3 flight turn, 5 aux power, and then while at full impulse for 15 seconds, you get 26.2 flow capacitors, which is the electroplasma stuff. Or no, flow capacitors is the drain X, essentially. So, whoops, found a bug. A text bug, that is. Happens more than you think. Then we have 26.2 EPG, and then we have 26.2 electroplasma systems as the final thing. I was getting them confused a little there. So it is a nice little bonus from the engines. And then finally for the shields themselves, you get some. And these are resilient shields. So they have a 5% absorb, 5% bleed through. This is 400 shield regen every 6 seconds, plus 10% incoming shield healing to self. So it buffs your incoming shield healing, which is a very nice thing to have. Then it also has the quantum phase fluctuations ability on the shields. Some science officer abilities will repair your shields. And it's 253 shield regeneration to each facing. Some of the powers that will heal are the Tachyon Beam, Charged Particle Burst, Energy Siphon, Tychon's Rift, Viral Matrix, and Destabilizing Resonance Beam. So, very nice thing to have. Then as far as our set bonuses, let me see if it will... Okay, it's going to let me pull it up so we can see the set bonuses. Now for the 2 set, this is just having 2 pieces. You get 17.8% maximum shield capacity, and it reduces all energy damage to shields by 7.5%. Then the 3 set that you have to work with, it's on a 2-minute recharge, and it is the Energy Weapon Entanglement. Firing energy weapons for 12 seconds triggers a quantum entanglement between self and foe. To self, you gain 7.4% energy damage for 12 seconds, and that can stack up to 10 times. So that can translate up to about 74%, assuming you get all of the stacks. Then to foe, it is a minus 7.5% energy weapon damage for 12 seconds. Now, skills that can affect that, of course, is the drain expertise. So the higher your drain X is, the worse the drain is going to be. Now, keep in mind some of the numbers we've read off will probably be a bit different for you, depending on how much drain X you actually have. So
Yes.
that is one thing we wanted to note. But moving along, we have for our devices. Now, I always like to consider devices personal preference, but there is one device in particular we always recommend to people, and this is the subspace field modulator that comes from the skirmish mission. Now, what makes it so good is for a time, I think it's around 30 seconds. Let me, again, just pull it up in
15.
game. 15 seconds. I'll just do the simple thing. I will pull it up in game, because stats.
Hey!
So it
Just
gives
looking for how long it works.
34 all damage resist rating and plus 15 defense rating. Both of those for 15 seconds. Now, the other thing is you gotta kind of be careful with some of the more modern enemies in game, because it also does a minus 400 proton damage resist to you for 15 seconds. Now, we hadn't really been mentioning the debuff because not too many enemies used proton damage, and it was rare enough that we didn't feel at the time it warranted too much discussion. But since some of the enemies have used proton damage fairly recently, we did want to at least touch base on that. But the next things we discussed our quantum phase converter just a couple of minutes ago. Now on the engineering consoles, you'll have 5 of them on this particular ship. We had our quantum phase converter, which gave the extra phaser damage, everything. Then for our next console, we have a conductive RCS accelerator. On a ship like this, you're going to want something to boost your turn rate a bit, because it can turn like a beached whale without it. Now, the conductive RCS accelerators will give around 37.5% turn rate normally. Then, what makes them so good is the other benefit that you get with them. It is the one I have here. I'm demonstrating for the people that'll see it on stream. Is actually a 14 Ultra, so the numbers are slightly inflated a bit. This one, it gives 47.5 flight turn rate. When healed, it applies the conductive accelerator for 15 seconds, which is 10% shield resistance for 15 seconds, plus 20% turn rate, and can happen once every 30 seconds. So that's why we went with the conductive RCS. That's also one of our money consoles. Everything.
It also gains a modifier when it gets to ultra rare. The one in the build is still very rare, so it does not have a modifier yet. That's how you're able to get it cheap. You get one without a modifier, and it's relatively cheap.
Yep. Now the one I have, and to give you an idea of some of the mods you can get, the one I'm actually reading from has Shield Heal. I've seen some with EPS. I've got one with Drain-X in my inventory, so it's a wide variety of mods. If you did want to go for an ultra rare, you just got to kind of shop around a little bit. But finally, we have the Trillium Deplating. This is an armoring console that we're going to be using. It comes from the Ragnarok mission. And from Ragnarok, I know I'm bouncing back and forth a lot for the people on stream, but I want to make sure I read the numbers right, and also for our radio folks out there as well. For the Trillium Deplating, this is at Mark 12, very rare. You get 13.3 all damage resist, 20 hull capacity, as well as 13.3 maximum shield capacity, 7.5% aux power to your shields as bonus, and it makes you immune to the effects of the Delphic Expanse. So, very nice console, very great to have on the budget end. It's essentially a field generator console and a neutronium armor slapped into one. Is the best comparison that I can give to that. Then for our next console, we had our assimilated module that comes from the Omega Reputation. This gives around 1% critical chance and around 11% of the critical severity as the main things that it gives us. Then we have, finally, the House Martok Defense Configuration. This is a new console that's been out as of Brushfire. Now, the one that I had, I believe, should be still sitting here in my inventory. Alright, so this one is a ultra rare, so the numbers are going to be slightly inflated compared to normal. But it's 11.5 maximum hit points. 11.5%, that is. 5.9 engine power and shield power. 8.8 maximum shield capacity and plus 19% flight turn rate. So that is slightly inflated to the very rares, but still a very nice console to have on the budget end. Then finally we have the 0-point energy conduit. This gives us a nice little chunk of Drain X, about what to think it's. Let me just go ahead and look, since I'm looking at everything else this evening. Gives us around 20 of the Drain Expertise at Mark 12, I believe. Now, the one I'm reading from is Epic. I don't... I got the unlock from the Temporal Agent whenever that was around, so I can't really read very rare stats like that anymore on my account. So, just know that it's going to be slightly less than what I'm reading from. But you get 2.2 to all power, or 2.2 to all subsystems, 26.6 Drain Expertise, and then 2.2 critical chance. Percent-wise, that is. So, very nice console to have. Comes from the Romulan reputation. Then finally, we have the Bioneural Gel Pack as our last console, which comes from the, I believe it is the Delta rep. Scroll down here. Then the Bioneural Gel Pack, it gives 2.2 to all subsystems, 22.3 Starship shield capacity, and then a 7% cooldown reduction on all bridge officer powers. That's the main reason why we have that, is for the cooldown reduction that it gives. Very nice to have on the budget end. Then finally we have 3 of the phaser relays from...
I do have the Drain X stats at very rare.
You do, okay.
On the 0 point. It is 1.8 power to all subsystems, 19 points at Starship Drain Expertise, and 1.8% critical chance at very rare.
Alrighty then. Yep. And I do
There you
apologize for bouncing back and forth between games so much, folks. Like I say, I want to read the stats for you, make sure you understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and everything. But finally, we have the phaser relays. These are the phaser-specific damage boosting consoles. These are around, I think, 30% for a Mark 12 at very rare. So a very, very good console. I think so. But yeah. Then you're going to get, I think it was a tactical console once you took it to a fleet version. I think is what it was. I put it in the notes. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. But, anyway. That's what we have as far as the consoles. Now the hangar, I left it blank because I'm going to assume that you're going to use the hangar pets that come with the ship, or you're going to equip it with your favorite hangar pets anyway. But anyways, for our equipment, that's kind of what we've got. We're buffing our Drain Expertise as much as we can. We're getting some turn rate to the ship. We're buffing our defensive stats as well a little bit, because we kind of wanted to go middle of the road with the ship. Finally, for our skills, we'll take a look at those really quickly. We have 2 points into the improved hull cap, 2 points into improved shield cap, then 1 point into shield and hull restoration each. We've maxed out our energy weapon training on the Lieutenant tier. On Lieutenant Commander, we've picked up the improved EPS flow, so there's 2 points in that. 1 point into Impulse Expertise, which allows pretty much all of our ships to turn a bit better. We've picked up the improved Control and improved Drain Expertise as well. Then we've also maxed out our Advanced Targeting Expertise, so 3 points into that. This will offset some of the firing mode penalties that we have to Cannon Scatter Volley and also to Beam Fire at Will that were introduced as of Season 13. We also have 3 points into Advanced Defensive Maneuvering. This allows the ship to take a little bit less damage. Then we have all 3 points into our hull armor on the Commander tier. 3 points into Advanced Shield Hardness. Then we maxed out our advanced weapon amplification and advanced weapon specialization. We've maxed out our critical chance for the weapon specialization. Now, the builder will say that it is 6%. In actuality, in game, it is actually 4% crit chance for free. That's still a pretty nice big chunk. Then for amplification, this is 40% critical severity you're getting for free just from the builder. Just from the skill tree, which is a very, very big deal. Finally, on the captain tier, we have a point into the defensive subsystem performance, and we did pick up a point in aux subsystem performance. We have 1 point in offensive subsystem tuning as well. We have 2 points into our improved exotic particle gens. This allows us to do more damage with a lot of our science powers and anything we might use. We also maxed out our advanced long-range targeting sensors. This reduces the weapon drop-off and everything, meaning you're going to do a bit more damage the farther you are out than you would otherwise normally do, and reduces the drop-off penalty. Then on the builder, for people that are going to see that later on, I put it as the shield penetration power on the captain tier, whereas Kirby prefers hull penetration. There is no right or wrong answer as to which one of these you should take. As long as you have at least one of them, you're doing pretty good. It's really just going to come down to what do you value more. Do you value getting through their shields a little bit quicker, or do you value bypassing a little bit of their hull armoring? There can be arguments made for either one, but I just marked it as the shield on the builder. Then our final point is in warp core potential to increase extra power. And that's what we have as far as our skills is. It's pretty standard. Kind of went middle of the road with it. For our two specializations... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would probably make a couple minor changes. I would probably take 2 points off of the shield hardness, and I would put one of them in the... I would pick up the warp core efficiency, because that's going to give you... That's going to allow you to play with your subsystem power levels a bit, and to have ones where you put low power in your settings have more power even though you've set them at like 15, for example. So that's going to help you manage your power levels better. And then I would also put 1 point in drain infection.
Some potential changes and everything that could indeed be made. But
well, you've got things that are draining, and so they get a little extra DPS.
That is true. That is
So,
true.
yeah.
Yep. But we do banter like this so we can present you guys all the options. If you need the defensive ability or want it, you could stick with the 3 points in shield hardness. Or if you think you're fine, you want a little bit of extra damage, then you could swap out to efficiency and the drain infection. But
There you go.
for our specializations, we went with intelligence as primary and strategist as secondary for some of the very nice buffs that both of these specializations give, as far as our damage and everything goes. But anyways, getting into the bridge officer powers, for this particular ship, you were kind of limited on the tactical powers that you had back then. You had a Lieutenant Tactical, an Ensign Universal, a Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, and a Lieutenant Science. Now for our Lieutenant Tactical, we decided to go with a Torpedo Spread 1 to take advantage of the Quantum Phase Torpedo, which allows us to smack pretty much several enemies with a torpedo. Then we went with our Attack Pattern Beta, because that will debuff the enemy and make them take more damage, not just from you, but from your team as well. Then for our Ensign Universal, we went with a Beam Fire at Will 1, which allows us to smack quite a few things in range with our beams. Then for our Commander Engineering, we went with a Engineering Team 1 to heal the hull as well as purge certain debuffs. We went with Reverse Shield Polarity as a quick shield recharge in a pinch. Then we also have Auxiliary to Battery 2 and 3, because we did want to go for Aux to Bat with this to kind of cool things down a lot quicker and to take more advantage of the power as well.
Now, it does bear noting that if you are going to use this ability in order to cool down, to make the other officer abilities cool down faster, you do need duty officers assigned to your crew that have this as their special ability.
Yes. And we did take note of the duty officers that you're going to need. We'll discuss that a little bit better in just a minute, but that is one thing to keep in mind. Then for one of our engineering powers, we went with the Structural Integrity Collapse 1. This is basically a nice little damage over time effect that you can put on the enemy. Then we went for, in the Lieutenant Commander Engineering, we also went with the Warp Bubble ability. This is a power that debuffs the enemy damage for however many enemies are within 4 kilometers of you. So you hit this, you're going to take a lot less damage in a pinch. Finally, we have Emergency Power to Weapons 3. This buffs your energy weapon damage while it is active, as well as putting some extra power into your weapons. Then finally, for Lieutenant Science, we also have our Science Team 1. This is a nice little shield recharge, as well as purging certain science debuffs. Then we also have, finally, the Hazard Emitters 2 ability. This is a heal over time effect that will also purge certain things, such as the Borg plasma fires from you. And it's a nice little heal overall.
Now, see, here's where that banter comes in, because I would you're not going to have an issue with power. I mean, yes, the emergency power to weapons will give you a nice damage buff, but you're probably going to be better off because Hazard Emitters is based off Ox power, isn't it? For the heal that it gives. So you might want to consider, if you find that you're needing the auxiliary power, that you can change that emergency power to weapons, emergency power to aux. Because every time you hit your auxiliary battery, you're going to be draining your aux power to 0.
Not necessarily to 0, but very low to like 5.
Very low, yeah.
But is one thing you could do. I was going to say smack it during the downtime between the 2 aux to batteries, but either way works. But point being, you do have options with the ship and everything. Again, like I say, it may seem like we're stepping on each other, but we do this, like I say, to give you guys the information and everything. What we provide is purely a template. You can change it up for whatever your specific needs are and kind of go from there. Then finally, something we don't normally talk a lot about is duty officers. And because of this being a very specific build, we wanted to mention you're going to want to shoot for you're going to want to shoot for 3 of the technicians. These are the ones that reduce time for your bridge officer abilities when you use an auxiliary to battery. Now we have 3 of these because that's the maximum amount it will let us do, and we went with the blue qualities. Everything as far as these technicians go, that's a pretty decent percentage. Everything will cool things down a lot quicker. But anyways, moving along to our traits. For our personal space traits, we have the Accurate space trait, which is a 5% boost to your accuracy rating. Then we have the Elusive trait, which is 5% to your defensive value, making you harder to hit. Then we have the Fleet Coordinator, which is 2% damage increase based on the party size that you have with you or your team, which does include yourself. So a maximum of 10% additional damage. Then we also have the Grace Under Fire. This is the engineering specific ability, or engineering specific trait. And it resets the Miracle Worker, or the Miracle Repairs now I should say. Can occur once every 90 seconds.
Yes. Miraculous repairs.
Yes, is the new name.
There you go.
And we should mention that if you are not an engineer, but you still want to use the build and everything, just swap out the Grace Under Fire for your own career-specific trait. And that's the only real major change that you're going to need to do there. Then we also have the Beam Barrage ability. This is from the Beam R&D Crafting School. Once you hit level 15, you'll unlock this trait. And it is a stacking damage buff that you get for a time. And it is a really good one to have. Let me grab the specific numbers for you guys, because I am currently running it on this tune. It is 2% all beam damage for 30 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So that is a 6% buff, which is not that bad to have.
No, it's not.
Then finally we have the Nanite Repair Matrix. This comes from the Midnight Mission. This will trigger a hull heal when you drop below 50% strength. Can occur once every 90 seconds. And it is a pretty sizable hull heal itself. It was around, usually, I think 3k is what I had it as last. Just assuming unbuffed, that is. Now, I'm not giving too many specific numbers for some of these traits because, again, they are going to be a bit different for you than they will me. Then, finally, they have the Operative, which is 1% critical chance, 2% critical severity, always nice to have. Then finally, we have the Point Blank Shot from House Peg. This increases the damage the closer you are to the target, with the maximum damage being at around 2 kilometers. Then, finally, for our Starship traits, we do have a few that we can use. We have the Best Defense. Your attack patterns grant you a hull healing buff along with their normal effects. This is around I think a 10%, something like that. It also comes from the House Peg mission. Let me actually just go ahead and look. If I can find it in this, there it is. So it is a 25% hull healing buff for 10 seconds. Then we also have the Predictive Algorithms. This gives a stacking accuracy buff to yourself for 30 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. It is a 5 accuracy, so 20 additional accuracy. Everything roughly. Now, the one I'm reading is the improved version, assuming you've maxed out your intel. Then we have Unconventional Tactics, finally, which is 15% bonus all damage to self for 15 seconds when you're using the Brace for Impact power. So all of these you can get for free, which is very, very great. Finally, for our Space Reputation powers, we have the Advanced Targeting Systems, which is 20% crit severity for free from the Dyson Rep. We have the Advanced Engines, which is 25% turn and speed. We have the Precision, which is 4% critical hit chance for free. Finally, we have the Chronocapacitor, which is around 7% Bridge Officer cooldown reduction. Then, finally, for our active reps, we have the Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity. This creates a nice little bubble that does a physical damage over time to anything caught within it. Then we have the Biomolecular Shield Generator. This creates that green bubble in space a lot of people use. It's a 20% reduction to shield damage. And it also gives a nice little shield heal every so often, equivalent to around a science team. We also have the Deploy Sensor Interference platform, which will spawn a little platform that taunts off of you. Then finally, the Quantum Singularity Manipulation, which gives a plus 100 to all science stats for a time and a temporary cloak effect. Now, we always like to use our quantum singularity manipulation first, follow that up with any science powers that we may have that we wish to use, and then also our anti-time entanglement singularity after that. And you will shred quite a few things with that.
Yep. Because remember, the quantum singularity manipulation adds plus 100 to all of your science stats. So, very important if you use quantum singularity manipulation. Use any science damage abilities that you have. And those science stats, by the way, does include drain. So...
Yes.
So, if you're considering hitting a big target with your brain beam that you get from the quantum phase 3Ps, consider using quantum singularity manipulation right before you use it. Anyway, for the active space reputation, I would actually change out the sensor interface platform and put in the Nukara, the oh Lord have mercy.
Tetryon Cascade?
Can't remember. Refracting Tetryon Cascade, thank you. Can't remember the names of things tonight. Yes,
Story of my life.
My meds are kicking in. I remember I took my meds when that alarm went off, so they're right about now. Yep, there we go.
She's starting to feel all fuzzy.
Yeah. Anyway, so I will change that out for the refracting Tetryon Cascade instead, but I like to do as much ultimate damage as possible, and I will at times sacrifice some survivability, a lot of survivability for it. So, if you find you need the survivability, then yeah.
And one thing I will note as well for the Tetryon Cascade is it's actually even stronger if you're using it with a Tetryon-based build. So you can use it with this build. It'll still do a pretty good bit of damage, but for our Tetryon users out there, this is an ability that you're definitely going to want to have.
Yes.
But
yes.
Anyways, that's pretty much what we've got for a budget build and everything. Some of the numbers we can look at real quickly. We only spent about just a little over $3 million of our EC budget of $5 million. Specifically, $3,049,000. So I don't think that's too bad. Then total,
no, it's not.
Total dilithium is 45,000 dilithium, and that's around 6 days of refining. That's assuming you're running one single character. So in roughly 6 days, you can have something that is going to absolutely shred and pretty much hand the enemy their rear ends on a silver platter. But I did include in the notes for anybody where you can get everything. For anybody that views this on the computer later on, if anybody's listening on the radio and everything, if you have any questions, and for people on the PC as well, if you have questions about the build or anything, why we did anything the way that we did, feel free to let us know everything, and we'll see what we can't do for answering. But that's what we have for a budget build for this evening and everything. Coming up on the Bugs Corner, not too much I can discuss publicly at the moment. We are dealing with a few more of those types of bugs at the moment. But one of the bugs that did get fixed was, of course, the vendors not binding the way that they should. In some cases, binding when they shouldn't be, and not binding when they should. So, a little bit of something like that. But as always, if you are seeing bugs, let them know. Post something up. Send it to one of these guys. They'll send it to me. I'll pass it along to the devs. Or if you have my @tag, feel free to let me know. Say, hey, I've got this bug. Whatever. If you've got videos, pictures, that's even better.
Yeah, send it to one of us. We love to play the Chris I Broke It game.
Oh yes,
and
they
see
do.
just how much we can break him.
We made him
That's-
rage log one time.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Okay,
It
you
was
didn't make
funny.
me rage
Earlier
log.
today.
My computer crapped. That is what happened.
Excuses.
Uh-huh.
See, earlier today, no, I'm telling you, earlier today he went AFK for like literally 3 minutes. Everything was fine, and he came back, and one of us went, Chris, I broke it. Should have heard him. I was on for 3 minutes. It was great.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, I was going for 3 minutes. I come back. I broke it. It's how? What? How?
We stockpile bugs for stuff like this.
That's why I keep these packlets around and everything, is because they're good at breaking things. But, anyways, moving along to our teacher's corner, what have you got for us this week?
Yes. Okay, so we go from breaking things to... I actually did a video on the Endeavor system. I figured it's new to
That ain't the
STO.
one that I see.
People have a lot of questions. Which one do you see? Oh,
The
you
one I was
see
seeing was Brush Fire.
playthrough.
Oopsie.
You clicked the earlier link.
Yes, I did.
But, yeah. So, I went through and
Don't judge me.
I explained the system a bit. Yes, we judge you. We pointed to you and looked down our noses. I'm kidding. Anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Endeavor system. So I explained the cycle, and I explained where to look for, where to find your Endeavor, and what else do I explain? I explain what rewards you get from your Endeavor system, and we talk about whether you can do it on just one character or on every character in your account, that whole thing. And yeah, so I try to answer every question I could think of that somebody would have. If I missed one, by all means, let me know, and I'm sure you will. On the video, in the comments. But, and I will try and answer any other questions I get.
Yep.
But yeah, so check it out. Hopefully it's a comprehensive view of the Endeavor system.
But
It's definitely simplified things for me.
Good.
it's
I'm
good,
glad to hear that,
but
because that was the goal, to simplify it so that you can understand what's going on.
we will have this in the notes for you guys as well. I promise I'll have the correct link and everything this time. It's every once in a while
Yeah.
I don't exactly refresh once she's updated, and I will click the wrong link, as y'all seen.
And I only updated it like 2 minutes before we went on the air, so it's not entirely his fault. We were doing we were doing Sompek runs up until the last minute.
But definitely check out the
It
Brush
was
Fire one as well.
Neela's
That's
fault.
another good one. Yeah. So,
Yes.
like I say, we will have links to all this stuff. But, anyways, finally, we are coming up on our last segment of the evening, and that is the RP Corner with Artie. What have you got for us this week, dude?
Okay, the Arena Sompek and You. Okay, what I'm going with this is that as we have the Arena of Sompek for 3 weeks, we get to play around with it for the RP community. As some community, depending on who you are, not everyone, don't go out and grind, get the best gear and all that. That's understandable. Well, maybe one day you actually get actual good gear, and it's actually the same gear that you use in character. Well, you and 4 other like-minded individuals in character can go test your metal for the Alliance to see how many rounds you get to, and who knows, maybe other fleets are doing the same thing. And when you all go to those big functions where there's multiple fleets talking to each other, who knows, you can actually go, yeah, I got the round 30, and someone else will be like, cool, I got the only round 25, you're cool, man. And everyone's on the same page, instead of everyone going, Well, I was at the Battle of Earth when the Iconians attacked and all that. And someone else would be like, oh, that hasn't happened in my timeline yet. But besides that,
Why do I feel like it's a... I remember, son, when I was at the Battle of Earth. I heard it in my head that way, like it's the old man Nunport talking to his, like, 10-year-old grandchild. You know?
right.
Anyway.
Back in my day,
Yeah.
when Earth was attacked, it was the Undine, not the Iconians.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sompek, I remember
right.
this.
Okay. Continuing on. Getting a little ways out of RP, a surprise, shocker, but the Arena of Sompek actually does a lot of team building exercises. Really, you get to trust the other members of your team. Say you have a dedicated person that heals and heals everyone. Drops down medical generators, or is making sure the team is fully healed during each round. Someone is just making sure the brunt of the damage going towards them. The usual kind of like raid group, if you want to go that far.
Grenade.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god, he went there.
Oh my god. He did.
But-
I just told somebody earlier today that you didn't need Trinity in it. Yeah.
Well, you don't
Need is a
need to.
strong word.
You don't need to, but
Yeah.
I am saying everyone
But
plays
it
it differently.
does-
Yeah. It does help out of character
Yeah.
to build a
No,
team,
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It does help to build this kind of play if that's what you want to do. Because
Right.
it does give the opportunity. It is a basis where that kind of play will help with your success.
Exactly. And from
Yeah.
what I've seen from some people, it is a good testing ground. Leading back out of character
Mhm.
again, you and your team, and your other 4-member team, will get together, try out different builds. As for myself, for example, I have a heavy weapon and I have 10 tons of passives that keep me alive for good on minutes before my first passive restarts to keep me alive again. That is one thing that would be noted for the team itself. While someone else be maybe adding on to, say, they have 10 tons of their build is specifically built for doing all the damage they can and are easily killable. Well, that's good. That's why we always have someone else to trust to make sure that person stays alive, and so on and so forth. It's a good web of player talking to player to get as far in the arena as you can go. Last time the Arena of Sompek came around, I remember doing something similar to this, actually having discussions, actually strategizing a little bit, doing a couple of training scenarios and see how far we can go. And as a bunch of our peers could go, we got past level 70. We did pretty good for just like a week of training. So don't underestimate those RPers. If they have an idea and they want to get those cool titles, they'll do it. Trust me.
Yep.
I think
But
that
yeah.
goes towards the old saying, never underestimate a nerd on a mission.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, that covers up the Arena of Sompek and You.
And speaking of Sompek, one last little Ambassador Kale dance. Because reasons. Just because we could.
Yep.
But, yeah, definitely some...
Oh, what'd you
good stuff.
do? You got Artie to do the dance.
Yeah, kind of.
How'd you get ready to do it.
Not that we would ever
Man,
give
now
Ambassador
I
Kale a
wish
hard time, but
I
okay,
had
maybe a
it.
little.
Now I
But,
wish I had it.
Oh, well, I have to get it for you.
Now I gotta get each of my tunes past at least level 23 in there.
Yep.
A nerd on a
But,
mission.
Exactly. But, anyways, folks, that's pretty much our show for this evening and whatnot. But hope you all have enjoyed it. We ran a bit longer than we usually do and everything. There was,
Yes.
It's been a while since we'd actually gotten to have a good show due to real life and all that stuff. But trying as well to get as much information to you guys as we can. Whatnot. We'll get back into the groove of things as we do more and more shows again. But anyways, a good shout out to our friends over at the Temporal Armada. Be sure to check those guys out on their radio broadcast as well. They're a cool bunch of dudes. They've been kind enough to sponsor us. Also, a shout out to our good friends over at Kurtang Pirate Radio. Everything. Those guys also kind of helping us out a little bit. Maybe occasionally rebroadcasting some of the stuff. But definitely wanted to give a shout out to those guys as well. If you have a budget build you'd like to see us do and everything, feel free to shoot us a message over and everything. Let us know what kind of a ship you're wanting, what kind of budget you're looking at, everything. We can do high-end, we can do mid-range, we can do bare bones, everything. Let us know, are you looking for a tank, are you wanting a DPS, are you wanting to do a space wizardry type thing, and we'll see what we can't do to help you out. If you want help with your piloting as well, feel free to submit a video to us, just showcasing some of your basics and everything you've been doing and whatnot, and we'll see what we can't do to help you out in that department as well. Because knowing how to fly the ship is the good majority of the battle as well.
Yes. Also, if you have a question about the game, or a suggestion for Teacher's Corner, go ahead and contact me in my in-game email or in the comments below this video.
And to add on to this long line of mentions, if you have any questions about RP, or if you found a cool Foundry mission that would be a really cool location to RP at, let me know. I've seen quite a few out there. Maybe you get an honorable mention.
Ooh.
Ooh my. But, indeed, finally, if you have bugs, like I said, feel free to let these guys know. They'll pass it along to me. I'll pass it along to the devs. Or if you've got my @ tag, feel free to let me know in game. Feel free to drop me something on Facebook, wherever you're able to get a hold of me. Just let me know what's up, and we'll see what we can't do.
This is Chris. I broke it. They'll know what's up.
Yeah. She gets sick jollies out of that. But, anyways, folks, like I say, that's pretty much our show for this evening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, we ran a lot longer than we wanted to, usually, but
Yes.
still getting back into the groove of things after Vegas. But for now, folks, this is the Pilot Review Show, and we are warping on out of here.
See you guys.
Laters.